In this episode of Travel with Chip, I transit the port of Chania, Crete, from east to west. I thought I'd had a problem with my other camera, so I redid it. And once I realized I didn't, I still couldn't throw this one out. Have a look. Kalispera from Chania. It's a beautiful afternoon on Monday. Got a lot of people here in town. A lot of big crowds, people from all over the world, and we have the opportunity to be here all afternoon. We visited with our friends in Rhythmno the last 2 days, and they had other things to do, and we've got a ferry to catch tonight, so we're going to be doing that. But all day we picked up a rental car, more than for anything, just to have somewhere to put luggage, and came into Old Town, Old City Chania, Poli, and are just having a good time looking around because this is a great Venetian fortress town. There's a huge Venetian fortress in my background here, and just give you a scan of the harbor wall. Up there is the lighthouse, the Venetian lighthouse, past those sailboat masts, and we'll see that a little bit later because we're going to be at the Maritime Museum, which is on the other side of the inlet. But first thing we're going to do is we're going to walk around the arc of the harbor. More Venetian structures there. I believe it's part of a chapel and part of the fortress, obviously, of that wall. Walked up to it a little while ago. It's a long walk, it's a little bit treacherous, and it's lined with other people. So, in the interest of safety and in time, we're just going to proceed from this point. These warehouses, for lack of a better description here, likely are from either the late Venetian or the early Ottoman times. They're quite old, and they're in an amazing state of preservation. In fact, they still seem to be being used some 400 or 500 years on. And all around this port, in this area, we have a marina, but lots of cafes, little shops, and then the old city of Chania. So do a little walking in the old city as well as around the arc of the harbor. Little charter boats, fishing boats, horse carriages, horse-drawn carriages. Lots of tours for all the people who come here. When we came down here on the ferry the other night to Chania, not only is it a Greek holiday on Tuesday, tomorrow, but there are also numerous foreign tourists because this is the height of the season. So they're coming down for the beaches. They're coming down, they're staying at great hotels and resorts, enjoying the sea, enjoying the weather, but are also here for the culture. For there's really from the Byzantine period through to the Venetian, into the Ottoman, and then back into the last 110 years of Greek history here on Crete, and of course Cretan history all the way through, as a Cretan would tell you. For the Cretans were here the whole time. There's tremendous overlap, crossover of history and culture here in Chania. I've been to Heraklion many times, which is if there's a capital of Crete, it's Heraklion. And the cruise ships generally go into Heraklion because the Minoan palace of Knossos is in Heraklion, or nearby. And the city of Heraklion is like the bad part of Athens. I'm sorry if you live in Heraklion and you love it. I do not share your love, but I have a lot of respect for it because obviously I don't know something you do. But places like Rhythmno and Chania. I was in Rhythmno yesterday, and I hope that picture made it up. Had a lot of different noises and things going on in the background, so I've yet to produce the Rhythmno video. But Chania, I think we got a lock on it. We shot it with 2 different cameras. And it's just a beautiful day. There are no locusts. There are no African tourists screaming in French at their children. There's just relative peace and quiet as we're here by the sea. Numerous languages from all over Europe, and if not all over the world. Enjoying architecture, old and new, whether a reconstruction or a restoration of something that was here, it's done in the same style. Yachts from Spain, Greece, the Netherlands, and some Egypt. Somebody said Egypt. They said Egypt. He said Egypt. It wasn't him, but there might be Egypt. Egypt! He's an expert in yachts. We're going to hire him for the next run up the Intercoastal Waterway. Woohoo! But lots of cafes, because why wouldn't you have 10,000 cafes in a place this beautiful? And we're really coming into the heart of it here. So we'll break off a little bit of the arc to take a walking tour up through town. Up ahead, the pretty good remains of a mosque from the Ottoman period. The Ottomans held Crete from 1646 until 1913. So let me try my instantaneous math. Right around 270 years, give or take a few. The minaret is gone, but the horse carriages remain. Kidding. And I'm sure it's not a mosque today, because there are very few mosques in any part of Greece, given the great animosity towards the Ottomans, who held many parts of Greece from the 15th century into the 18th and of course 1900s, 19th century, 20th century. Just look out at the harbor for a second, because I've got to let two more horse-drawn carriages through. But we'll also look at the city walls with the horse carriage and see how the houses are built on them and the cafes are built into them. And they've ostensibly lined up here for their next fairs around Chania. The authentic city tour. Looks like they run 20, 30, and 50 euros depending on how much of Chania you'd like to see. And I would imagine that the former mosque, like so many mosques in this part of the world, particularly Greece, which are no longer Muslim, are performance spaces and cultural centers, even though they still bear a lot of the remnants of their Islamic past. More cafes, passageways back into the old city. And we'll take maybe the next one. A 1 hour tour. If it were a 3 hour tour, I'd be nervous. Gilligan's Island joke there. Smile if you get that one. Cafe Feiya. Feiya is not aunt, it's view. And here's their view for free. Phenomenal. Great name. And like so many places in Greece that are tourist you have so many tourist shops. If you've been to Athens, and this reminds you of Monastiraki Square in the Plaka, we won't fault you for that, because it does resemble that quite a lot. The tourist traffic, even the fountain. But we are indeed on Chania in Crete. I like let's spoon over there. Little known fact, evidently, the Greeks have something called spoon sweets. So, let's spoon. Tourist shops and fun things as far as the eye can see. From fine items such as Cartier to the Oracle Delphi. Everything in between. Candies and nuts and sweets and wines, local products. But a really great part of Greece here on Crete. An archway from the Venetian period, no doubt, maybe the early Ottoman, leads to various cafes and a jewelry workshop. You have a blend of architectural styles born out of necessity here in Chania. A friend of mine who grew up in Rhythmno, where I said yesterday, and we were there yesterday and did some video in Rhythmno, he grew up there, and he said there wasn't a lot of tourism when he was a child, but it grew up later. So in an area where tourism grew out of necessity. Very understandable. They use whatever it is that they have to support that. Probably the Orthodox Cathedral in Rhythmno, or in Chania, here on this platea, this square. A very pretty church, cathedral or not. And right across the way, the Cretan House and the Catholic Museum. Critico Museo. So the Catholic Church behind those walls there. Appropriate, having been a Venetian city for a long time. And it goes on and on. Incidentally, Crete has a leather industry, and a lot of the leather goods here are local. And here are the walls of part of the fortress. We'll just take a quick look up at them. Past another leather goods shop. And see if we're not following a little bit of a red herring here. We are following the line of the fortress, but we're going to step through here, go past the Art Hotel. Came through here a little earlier. One of the good things about spotting out areas is that you know where you're going. Great deals here on dining as well. 23 euros. Buys you quite a lot. 2 soft drinks, half a kilo of wine, souvlaki, tzatziki, Greek salad for 2. We just cut through the little back passage here. A leather goods shop and jeweler within those walls. Apartments and hotels. Calamari and octopus. Great combination. And we're back in the old part of the city. Lots of little lanes and alleys to wander. Beautiful tavernas with inside and outside seating. Raki! Wonderful. We had a little raki earlier with our friends on the harbor. We're currently taking care of Gail, sitting and enjoying the afternoon while I'm out here working. I don't mind a bit. Textiles such as blankets, cottons and linens are local products of Crete. A friend of mine in Athens is half Cretan and has a manufacturer of Cretan blankets, which in my 3 days here on Crete, I have not seen equivalent. So very happy to have the one that he gave me a few months ago. You can go see Theo at the Loom in the Plaka in Athens if you find yourself there. Theo's my friend. That is not a paid endorsement, ladies and gentlemen. That's just a good guy. Religious icons and tavli, all handmade, no doubt. And I love backgammon. I can't deny it. Though I'm not as aggressive a player as some Greeks I know, most of whom play in the bazaar in Athens and throughout the Plaka and the flea market area, waiting for their next client. Lanes and lanes and alleys through here with different eras of ancient, well, if not ancient, Byzantine, Venetian, Ottoman construction. Really a fascinating old city. As we make our way a little further and come back down to the arc of the harbor, you'll recognize the mosque. You think, what has he been doing? Is he a taxi driver running up the fare? Our friends at the Demos restaurant, very hospitable. And Gail sitting there enjoying a water, sitting on the phone. Good place. I owe them a $2 bill or $3 in the mail when I got home. They came up and they said, "You're American, do you have any $2 bills? We collect $2 bills." I said, "Give me your address, I'll mail you some." Happy to do it. Got an envelope full of them. Just for that. Villa Venezia, the House of Venice. Really a charming harbor. It makes it so much easier for me to do this when the subject matter is interesting. A few days ago, God bless everybody who lives and works in Thessaloniki. The White Tower was interesting. The rest of it was a city. And we can work really hard and look for things that are interesting. But when the subject matter makes itself interesting, by golly, it really is. And I'm out for my entertainment as well as yours. 50-50. Maybe even 51-49. Because I have fun doing this. And I hope you do too. And we're working our way back to the Maritime Museum on this end. And there again is the lighthouse at the end of the harbor wall. We've walked quite a ways. I walked quite quickly. Yesterday I walked out of Rethymno back up to my friend's house in, oh my goodness, Atsipopoulou, way up on a hill outside of Rethymno. And they said, "We can't believe that you did this not once but twice." And I said, "Well, how far is it?" And they said, "Well, it's really about 2.5 miles. It's right on 4 kilometers. I said, "Well, it didn't feel like 4 kilometers. It was a lot of fun. It's a great walk." And I lied a little bit. A lot of it has to do with, you know, you're on side of a highway almost. Here we have at the Maritime Museum a giant anchor, a giant propeller, part of a big ship. Again, this is a port city. We have a harbor mine, laid perhaps by Germans or by the Greeks. Magnetic mine. And into the Maritime Museum. Uh-oh. because apart from a torpedo, the museum is closing up, and so has this area beyond. So we'll just be able to take a look. Greek flag flying over the rampart. Very pretty area. I was just in here a little earlier. Classic architecture here at this end of the Venetian fortress. Steam torpedo Mark 8. My torpedo experts, leave your comments in the section I give you. Our museum consists of the ground floor, first floor, 840 square meters, 13 houses, 2 exhibitions. Very lovely. Sorry we missed it. So we're back out of the Maritime Museum. What a bummer. But, you know, what we'll do is, instead of the Maritime Museum, we'll walk back here. And we'll just follow another set of lanes. People enjoying their afternoons. The Greek dinner time. If I asked you, if I dropped you right out of this, somewhere where you were, into this place, where would you say that you were? Antica Casa. You would say you were in Venice. But no, you're in Chania. The Greek street signs give it away. I know, I know. Gorgeous. The English would say quaint. And more and more and more. Let's take a walk back down to the water. If I do this in one cut, I'm going to give myself a prize. And we're at the outside of the fortress here. And really just in awe of the outside walls of the harbor. We have an electric Toyota whining at us to get out of the way. But cutting through the walls of the harbor into a park and a parking area, and with an absolutely beautiful view of the sea. So if you like to see what people in Europe drive, look, because we're in a parking lot. And in the distance, the outskirts of Chania, a promontory that greets people who come in on the ferries, and a little bit of that Venetian lighthouse. Passing over the cars here in the parking lot. A little, I'm not sure it's a real submarine. It's supposed to look like a submarine, but something resembling a submarine. Great views here. Right at the lighthouse. And the Sea of Crete. And the outlying areas to the west of Chania. And those city walls again, where we just came through. Headed back towards the lighthouse and the arc of the harbor. I want to say thanks for watching Travel with Chip. Please subscribe and share. Appreciate all your support. Tonight we're on the Venizelos yet again. I was hoping we'd get another ferry, but we're on the Venizelos tonight. And we're headed back to Piraeus. And we will be in Athens for another 5 days. We're going to go see some friends, maybe make some new ones. We're going to see some things that I've seen many times. I'm going to get to show to you. And maybe find some new things and some new experiences and new adventures. So until we get to Athens, we'll be seeing you. If you have time and want to see more of the port of Chania, go to the channel and look for the video I did with the DJI camera going from west to east. Leave a note in the comments as to which one you like the most. Thanks again.